I'm going to call on another champion of YOU, Megan Gleed, to come up and introduce some of our speakers today. She's always a great supporter with YOU and continues to do some great work. So please give her a hand, Megan.
If you have been to a YOU breakfast in the past, you know that our speakers are the highlight of this event. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing both of our speakers this morning. Our first speaker, Brittany Winton, is a very special young woman who has worked through many obstacles in her life to discover that she is strong and resilient. With Brittany this morning are two special people in her life who have volunteered to stand with her while she speaks. It's not easy to get up here. Welcome to YOU staff member Catherine Karosky and to Brittany's fiancé, Brad Kovacs. And of course, a very special welcome to our speaker, Ms. Brittany Winton.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brittany, and I am here to talk to you about my journey with having anxiety. I have had anxiety for as long as I can remember. I used to be bullied all the time in public school. In grade 5, the bullying got really bad, and the girl who bullied me pushed me down an icy hill at school, and I banged my head and got a mild concussion. In grade 6, due to being bullied, I would go home sick a lot because I would get a rash and start to feel very nervous and weird. I now know they were panic attacks, and I'm pretty sure I was suffering from an anxiety disorder back then because I was afraid of going to school. That continued on through grade 8. In grade 9, the bullying got a bit better, but in the first semester, but then started back up in the second semester when I was dating my ex. These two 10th grade girls would yell mean things down the hall at me at lunchtime and were mean to me whenever I saw them in the hall or outside school. It was in grade 10 that I started suffering from depression. My old boyfriend would tell me he loved me, but his actions showed me otherwise. It was about Christmas 2009 that I started to cut myself because my depression and sadness just felt so overwhelming. I would spend whole nights in my room crying and laying in the dark, sometimes turning to self-harming, because at the time it took away some of the psychological pain I felt, which I know sounds weird. In about February, I had gone to work one day, and while I was ready to start, all of a sudden my heart started racing and I got so dizzy that I literally felt like I was going to die. I had to leave work before I even started. The following Monday, that feeling came again and I left school. After school that day, I admitted to my mom that I needed to go see my doctor because of the self-harming and also that weird feeling I had gotten twice. So she made me an appointment, and I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and the doctor had told me what I had was panic attacks. Anyway, she had prescribed me medication and referred me to FEMAP, the first episode mood and anxiety program. There I got the help I needed, but in summer going into grade 11, my anxiety had worsened to the point where I didn't want to even leave my house. And I had missed quite a lot of school. I was also still self-harming. It got to the point where if I didn't stop and I didn't start going to school, my psychologist was going to admit me to the mental hospital. That scare was enough to get me to stop self-harming and get myself going to school each day. The vice principal at Saunders, Mr. Deeb, was nice enough to make special arrangements for me, so I got to go to class for lessons and work in the resource room for the in-class work. The resource room was a quiet room with 5 to 10 students, and more help was offered if needed. Those arrangements continued into grade 12 when I graduated. In October of 2011, I had met my now fiancé, Brad, and we started dating soon after we had met. And in April of 2012, we had moved in together. In June that year, Brad and I were referred by Ontario Works to Youth Opportunities Unlimited to start job searching as part of our participation agreement. Brad had started working with Catherine, and I started to work with an employment counselor who was not with Youth Opportunities anymore, named Taryn. She had worked with me to fix up my resume, and then I was able to find a part-time job at Burger King. Things seemed to be going better, but in November 2012, one night Brad and I had been drinking with one of his friends when I was sexually assaulted. And that's what triggered another bout of anxiety. Wanting to get away, I moved across town and started a new job at Wendy's. But I was only able to hold that job for 3 months. I started to have panic attacks at work due to nasty coworkers and had to quit my job there. We almost got evicted from our apartment because of my job loss and being unable to pay rent fully. In September 2013, my anxiety had gotten higher than it had ever been before because my family had gone away to South Carolina and I stayed behind. I was having frequent severe panic attacks to the point where I felt unable to cope any longer. So I had turned to smoking marijuana to help ease the anxiety, just to help me get through that terrible time. Just when I thought the worst of it was over, I got really sick after Thanksgiving. After going to the hospital and them telling me it was a stomach flu, I had gone home to rest. 2 days later, I got severe pain in my lower right side and was rushed back to the hospital via ambulance and had found out that my appendix had burst. And I was rushed up to surgery within 20 minutes. After that awful experience, my anxiety got so bad that I was pretty much scared of everything. My anxiety was making it really hard for me to leave my house. One day, after missing many appointments with Catherine, I worked up the courage to push myself harder than ever to get downtown. I had grabbed my rock my social worker made me with the word "achieve" on it and got myself downtown. I remember how Catherine was so proud that I had finally made it, and she gave me a big hug. That meant so much to me. Right away, that day we got to work on an employment action plan. From that day forward, Youth Opportunities has been a huge part of my recovery. A couple weeks later, Brad and I started the Training for Employment Success workshop with another YOU leader named Michelle. And she was also a big help, making me feel welcome and part of the group. After the 3 weeks of tests, I felt more confident, like I was really starting to break out of my shell. And I actually broke down in tears because I just felt like I had accomplished so much in such a little amount of time. I knew I was wanting to do the program at the You Made It Cafe before I was done doing the test program. And on the last day of tests, I remember saying I wanted to start at the cafe that following Monday because I just didn't want to stop working hard and risk my anxiety coming back. They were able to have me start on the Monday, which I was really excited to start, but I was also a bit nervous because I had not worked a real job since March 2013. It turned out that I loved working at the cafe since the very first day I was there. The chefs there taught me how to properly use a knife and how to properly prepare food, and I learned how to saute and grill food. When I started working up at the front of the cafe, I learned how to prep produce for the breakfast sandwiches and also how to cook the sandwiches and make salads too. I learned how to work the cash, and I also have better customer service skills now. Another great part of the program is that YOU offers certificates that you can put on your resume. They offer safe food handling, smart serve, and first aid CPR training. I was really proud of myself for getting all my certificates on the first try. Having these skills has helped me find out what I want to do as my future career, which is to become a Red Seal chef. The staff at YOU have helped me tremendously, including working with me one-on-one, providing supportive and encouraging feedback, and assisting me to develop strategies to better handle my anxiety. So that pretty much takes me to where I am today. These days I'm feeling like a whole new person with a lot more confidence. You know, if you had told me a year ago that with my anxiety I'd be standing up here talking to hundreds of people like this, I never would have believed you. It really is unbelievable how far I've come. Thanks especially to Catherine and all the staff at YOU, to my fiancé Brad, and also to my parents who have all been huge supports to me. And by you all being here today, I can see that you support YOU too. So thank you too, and have a great day.